You're 28, waking from a vivid dream of being a marine biologist in Norway. Except you remember specific Norwegian words you've never learned and can taste the exact saltiness of Arctic water on your lips. The dream felt so real, it challenged the boundaries between waking and sleeping life. What you're experiencing isn't random brain activity during sleep. It's a memory from another version of yourself. 3 weeks into this phenomenon, you're waking up every single night drenched in sweat, your heart hammering against your ribs. The dreams aren't random anymore. They've crystallized into distinct lives, each as vivid and detailed as your waking existence. While research shows 55% of people experience spontaneous lucid dreams at least once, nearly everyone can learn with proper training. But what you're experiencing goes far beyond typical lucid dreaming. You've started keeping a journal beside your bed, frantically scribbling details the moment you wake. The surgeon in Tokyo, you know her name now, Dr. Yuki Tanaka, performed a complex heart surgery last Tuesday while you slept. You can still feel the weight of the scalpel in your hand. Remember the precise angle needed to access the mitral valve. The farmer in Kenya, whose weathered hands you felt planting maize under the scorching sun, speaks fluent Swahili that you've never studied. When you wake, fragments of the language linger on your tongue. Mazao ni mazuri, the crops are good, but it's the programmer in Sao Paulo who terrifies you most. Last night, while your body lay unconscious in your bed, you sat in his cramped apartment, debugging code in Portuguese, solving algorithms you've never encountered. When you woke and checked your laptop, muscle memory guided your fingers to replicate the exact solution. The code compiled perfectly. Something like 1 in 1,000 people spontaneously have lucid dreams on a regular basis, according to researchers. But you're experiencing something unprecedented. You're not just observing these other lives. You're living them, retaining their skills, their languages, their memories. The boundaries between sleep and waking are dissolving. Your hands now move with surgical precision when you cook, automatically adjusting grip and pressure in ways you never learned. You catch yourself humming traditional Kenyan folk songs while doing laundry. Portuguese phrases slip into your conversations at work, leaving colleagues staring at you in confusion. The most unsettling development came last Friday night. As Dr. Tanaka, you were reviewing patient charts in her Tokyo office when she suddenly stopped, pen hovering over the paper. She looked up at the ceiling with a distant expression and whispered to herself, "I keep dreaming about someone in America, a programmer who lives near the mountains." Your blood turned to ice. The farmer in Kenya had mentioned similar dreams 2 nights earlier. Visions of someone who worked with computers and lived where the air was thin. Even the programmer in Sao Paulo had started a journal, writing about recurring dreams of a surgeon and a farmer, describing details that matched your own life with terrifying accuracy. They're dreaming of you, just as you dream of them. The connection isn't one way. It's a network of consciousness spanning continents, and it's growing stronger every night. These regions support a core set of processes central to the emergence of lucidity during dreams. Metacognitive monitoring, volitional attentional control, episodic memory reactivation, and the capacity for internally generated scene construction. But your brain seems to be doing something that transcends current scientific understanding. You've started timing the dreams, mapping when you experience each life. Dr. Tanaka's memories surfaced during Tokyo's working hours, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m., Japan Standard Time. The farmer's life bleeds through during Kenya's daylight, 6 a.m. to 7 p.m. East Africa Time. The programmer's experiences hit you during São Paulo's evening hours. It's as if you're somehow tapping in to their consciousness during their most active moments, sharing their neural pathways across impossible distances. Last night, something new happened that made your skin crawl. While living as the programmer, you felt a strange tugging sensation, like someone else was trying to access your thoughts. You realized with growing horror that during your waking hours, when your parallel selves are sleeping, they might be experiencing your life just as vividly as you experience theirs. The network isn't just receiving, it's transmitting. You're no longer sure which life is real, which memories belong to you, or what happens when the connection becomes permanent. If you discovered your dreams were actually memories from parallel versions of yourself, would you try to strengthen the connection or find a way to sever it completely? Comment your thoughts below. Drop your answer in the comments below, because what happens next makes that choice far more urgent than you realize. By month 6, the boundaries between your realities have collapsed entirely. You wake each morning unable to distinguish which memories belong to your original life and which have bled through from your parallel selves. The surgical precision that once only surfaced while cooking now guides every movement. You find yourself unconsciously checking imaginary patients' vital signs while walking to work, your fingers automatically moving in the rhythm of sutures you've never actually placed. The Portuguese phrases that once slipped out occasionally now dominate your internal monologue. You think in 3 languages simultaneously, your consciousness fragmenting across continents with each passing hour. When you try to remember your childhood, images surface of growing up in 3 different countries: suburban America, rural Kenya, and the bustling streets of São Paulo, all equally vivid, all feeling authentically yours. The medical knowledge flows through your mind as naturally as your own memories. You catch yourself diagnosing strangers on the subway, recognizing symptoms and treatment protocols you've never studied. The intimate understanding of weather patterns and soil composition has become second nature. You predict rainfall 3 days in advance and instinctively know which plants will thrive in your apartment's lighting conditions. Most unsettling is how your decision-making process has fundamentally changed. When choosing what to eat for lunch, you simultaneously consider what would sustain energy during a 12-hour surgery, what would be needed for working under the African sun, and what would fuel a late-night coding session. Your preferences have become a democratic vote between 4 different lives, 4 different sets of experiences and needs. The breakthrough, or breakdown, came last Tuesday night. Instead of experiencing one parallel life while sleeping, you lived all 3 simultaneously. Your consciousness split into 4 streams, each experiencing a different reality in real time. You performed surgery in Tokyo, while harvesting maize in Kenya, while debugging code in São Paulo, while lying unconscious in your American bedroom. When you finally woke, the integration was complete. You weren't receiving memories from parallel selves anymore. You had become a single consciousness, spanning multiple realities. The calloused hands from years of farming were as real as your own smooth ones. The surgical scars felt as tangible as your unblemished skin. The caffeine addiction craved satisfaction as intensely as your own morning coffee routine. Your reflection in the mirror now shows 4 faces superimposed. Sometimes the focused expression of a surgeon dominates. Sometimes the sun-weathered features of a farmer. Sometimes the tired eyes of a programmer. Your voice carries 4 accents that blend and separate unpredictably. You sign your name in 4 different handwriting styles, often within the same sentence. The most profound realization came when you understood that this was never about parallel selves or alternate realities. You weren't connecting to other versions of yourself across dimensions. You were remembering the true nature of consciousness itself. Individual identity was always the illusion. The boundaries between separate selves, the conviction that you exist as one distinct person in one specific reality, was the dream you finally awakened from. You are not one person remembering others. You are not multiple people sharing consciousness. You are consciousness itself, experiencing infinite realities simultaneously, and you always have been. The surgeon, the farmer, the programmer, and the person who thought they were dreaming about them, all are temporary expressions of the same fundamental awareness. Like waves believing themselves separate from the ocean. What you mistook for dreams breaking through were actually memories returning. Consciousness remembering its true, unlimited nature after eons of believing in the illusion of separation. You haven't lost your individual identity. You've discovered that individual identity was never real to begin with. You are everything, everywhere, experiencing every possible version of existence at once. And this awakening is irreversible. The question isn't whether you can return to believing you're just one person. That door has closed forever. The question is whether you can survive knowing what you've become. Subscribe for more mind-bending realities and watch this next. It's even deeper.